Welcome back, guys. I'm Mellowseven. This is Football Manager 2018, and this is our manager experiment. We created 4 managers. Let me get my notes so I know exactly who they are. Larry, Curly, Mo, and Shemp, obviously, right? What else would you call your 4 managers? All 4 of the 3 Stooges. We did a few things differently. So Larry and Mo had a reputation of 2,000, whereas Curly and Shemp had a reputation of 5,000. Larry and Curly had role suitability for manager, assistant manager, coach, and GM, whereas Mo and Shemp only wanted to be managers. So those were kind of the 2 things we started. They all started in the same kind of Northern Irish league. A range of coaching certificates, though. I believe Curly, I think it was Curly had the highest. He had a continental. Everybody else had national licenses. What am I looking for? I am looking for our staff shortlist. And you can see right here, Mo had the continental license. Everybody else had national licenses. So this is where we left off last time. So this is 5 years into our experiment, and we can see that at the moment, only Mo has a job. So he doesn't have the highest current ability. They all started with a current ability of 7 and a potential ability of 200. You can see reputations. Mo and Shemp started with Curly and Shemp started with the highest reputation, and you can see they still have the highest reputation. So, but only one job. So let's go ahead and we're going to advance this a year and see what it looks like in 2023. Okay, guys, the first thing is that we've lost a Stooge. We are down to 3 Stooges. We've lost Shemp. Some of you will be happy with that. Some of you will be upset. I know there's a cult of Shemp out there, but we lost him, and nobody has a job this year. Nobody. So what happened? Oh, Larry's wanted, though. Brora wants him. Is Mo that had the job last? Yeah, he was head coach at Coleraine. What happened there, do we think? Whoops. Wasn't what I wanted to click. I want to look at maybe milestones, I think is where it is. He was fired. Oh. Well, then let's find out. We do want to look to see how Coleraine did. Let's see. Competition, senior squad. Danske Bank. They were in the playoff final. That seems to be a little bit harsh. I mean, they dropped their last 3. How did they finish within the regular league table here? They were 6th. They were the bottom of the playoff table, but they were in the playoff table. Well, that seems harsh. I wonder what were they expected to be at? Expected to be 5th. So, I mean, it seems to me that they lived up to their expectations. 5th, 6th. I mean, I don't know that it matters a whole lot. 2 points between them. So, and both should be expected to lose their next game against the higher level guys. So I don't know. Interesting. Yeah. Pretty consistent. They were kind of mid-table the whole way along. So, all right. Everybody else is, for the moment, unemployed as well. So let's go ahead and we'll load the next year. And we've lost another Stooge. We lost Curly. So we're down to just Larry and Mo now. Larry has a job. There we go. Head coach. He has a Continental C license. So Larry and Mo, interestingly enough, were our 2 low reputation players. And one is Larry will happily run any job. Mo only wants to be a manager. But it's interesting that it was the low reputation guys that survived. Look, they still don't have a 5,000 reputation, which is what the other 2 started with. I essentially made them all with 10s across the board, but with only a current reputation or current ability of 75, it ended up knocking some of those down. So kind of 9s and 8s is probably about where they were at. So I think if we were to go back and look, we'd see that Larry really hasn't improved much. And you can see, well, right there, he's gone from 75 to 84, whereas Mo has gone from 75 to 104. So he's improved quite a bit more. And these numbers are actually decent. But I just think at least that reputation jump from 2000 to 5,000 clearly wasn't enough to make a huge difference. Whether it's important or not, I don't know. Mo started out with a higher license, but Larry started out with a national license and, in fact, has the lowest license of the 4 at the moment with a Continental C. So I don't even know that the license helped that much, although maybe with him only wanting to be a manager, maybe it's going to make a big deal. Maybe it'll make him easier for him. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to kind of see. So let's go ahead and go on to year 8. First, let's look to see. Let's check out the locos here. How did they do this year? First, did he get him promoted? Larry, did you? Okay. Oh, he's assistant coach. He was assistant coach for Leith as well. I don't know that I noticed that. Okay, well, he's assistant coach, but they got promoted, so they're going to go up a level. So yeah, let's see what happens next year. Okay, we still have Larry and Mo. Larry's moved on to Brechin City here. Mo is still a free agent, still available, not wanted. Big jump for Larry. He went from 84 to 96 in current ability. Clearly working as an assistant at Brechin has been good for him. And he's got a new license, Continental B. There we go. I wonder how much the jumps... matter. I mean, clearly we saw a jump with the license here, right? I might have to go back and see if I can kind of chart out how much of a jump each of these players got based on their licenses. So it may actually be a negative for Mo to have started with a higher license, because if they all start with 75 and he's got fewer licenses at the top, maybe he gets fewer improvements, right? Do we only improve when we get a new license? So even though he has a 200 potential, he's unable to get that far. I think I need to make a note on that, and I think that's an interesting experiment. Like, how much jump do you get? It'd help if I could spell. Do you get with a license, with coaching license? Hopefully, that'll be enough of a note that I can remember. And I can't spell license for some reason. Did I get? No, I got the S and the N mixed up. License is. Do you have one of those words? Let me know down below. If you do, one of those words that you just can't spell right. License is that for me as an adult. Soldier was that word for me as a kid, which is funny because I have a huge military background in my family, but I just could not spell soldier. All right, so we see that Larry's an assistant coach with Brechin. Mo is looking for a head coach job. So let's go ahead and jump up to the next year. All right. So no change. Well, I take that back. There has been a change. Larry has his Continental A license, so he's jumped from up to 107. So he's getting about an average of 11 or 12 per license. So assuming he were to get a pro license, we would expect him to cap out somewhere around 118, 119 in that area. So even though he's got a 200 potential, he's not going to achieve that because there's not another license. And I don't know how much of a boost we get just over time. I don't know. It's interesting to look to see what coaches actually get. And I think that's going to be my next experiment, is just to look at kind of how much of an improvement you get. Now, the question is, how much of this is directly useful to you and me as a player? Well, clearly, knowing how much of an improvement we get as a manager as we get license to license. So if you start yourself as a, kind of a regular guy, but you give yourself a high license, you're not going to improve potentially. I mean, that's what we're learning, right? Your manager stats are going to stay where they are. You're almost better off giving yourself a boost here, but giving yourself a crappy license. And then being able to get bigger improvements. And are those improvements a percentage of what you have already? So we're at 11s now. So if at at 100-ish, we're getting a boost of 11 to 12 points. Well, if I'm at 150 and I go up a license, does that all of a sudden become a boost of 17 points? Right? And if at 15 points or 50 points, is it only a boost of 5 or 6 points? Right? Does it scale based on your current ability? Does it scale based on your potential ability? Or is it the same? Is it a flat, you're going to get an extra 15 points no matter where you are, 11 or 12 points no matter where you are? I don't know. Interesting. Like I say, this is definitely my next experiment, because I'm really interested in how this is going to work, because I do a lot of journeyman. Well, I do a lot. I do a journeyman save every year so far. Well, the 2 I've played. But those are super long term. I mean, I'm already in my 60s for this series, for this journeyman, and I don't know. Let me look really fast. I don't remember how many I did in the last seasons. Give me just a second here. We will check my. Let's turn on the display capture here. And video manager, 172 subscribers. Thank you guys. I had a big boost lately. And you can see here, none of my RimWorld are suitable for advertising for no apparent reason. No apparent reason. There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing unsuitable about them, but just the fights we have to fight. So this is this year's. Their club. Oh, that's right. I kind of broke it down by, and just do it as a journeyman, did I? Well, we had 22 videos in the Spotsia part, another 28 videos at Nuremberg. I guess that's all we recorded for that one. I think that's right. I started it as a private save, and then watching Loki and Lelujo got interested into doing YouTube, and essentially started my series partway through my journeyman experience. So last 2 teams. But you know what? I mean, that's 60 videos there as well. And our current one is up to 62 videos so far, with no signs of slowing down. So knowing how much of a jump I can expect, how are my stats going to improve as I continue on, is I think that's important to know. I mean, and how do they improve? Like, do they improve consistently? Because everybody started with the same numbers, right? We all started with 10s across the board, which then, like I say, got nerfed a little bit due to the current ability not being quite enough for 10s across the board. And does this current ability just look at this, or does it also pay attention to your hidden attributes, right? Does that get affected at all? I don't know. We'll have to look at that as well. But you can see here, whereas Larry's kind of improved pretty much the same across the board, right? He's up to 11, and these were all 1s. So, he's improved 1 to 2 straight across the board. We'll say everything kind of dropped down to about 9s-ish. So he's about 2 up. Whereas Mo has gone up 4 in goalkeeper distribution, and he's jumped up a bunch in fitness, but then mental didn't jump up. And actually, we can say right now that clearly it's not just these numbers, because Mo has, if we were to add these up, he has higher numbers, right? So we start here, he's +1, he's +2, he's +1, he's +4, +5, +6, +7. He's got 7 more abilities here, but a current ability of 2 under here. So clearly, these aren't the only numbers that go into your current ability. So, and I'm sure there's people out there that understand how that works, but for me, this is new. So, all right. So, no real change here as far as the coaching, though. Larry is still the assistant coach at Brechin City. So, how did Brechin City do this season? Let's take a look real fast. They were 6th. So, that's not too bad. Middle of the table. Okay. Not bad, not great. Let's go ahead and jump up another year. I think this next year will be our 10th year. All right, so we got a little bit of an issue. Not terribly. I had set it to just in vacation. I had set it to just go up to go 2 years with a save every year was the idea. So I didn't have to do a save. I could just, my experiment was, and I didn't pay enough attention to that experiment, was, if I'm at June 15th and I tell it to run 2 years, will it give me a save, an auto save every year? So for instance, I could say do 5 years, vacation for 5 years, and tell it to do a save every year, and it would just automatically run through, and I wouldn't have to babysit it and manually do a save and waste time because the laptop was sitting off to the side. I wasn't paying enough attention. Well, it did do a save, but it does the save in August. So it did do a save once a year, but even though we were starting in June and going to June 2 years, we got our saves in August. So let's take a look at what happened in August of 2027. I apologize. And we're down to just Larry. So it does tell us something. Still has an A license, still an assistant coach at Brechin City. Numbers haven't changed at all. Brechin City's in 4th. They're not doing too bad. Season's just started, though. We're only 4 games in, so kind of screwed that up. So we'll go ahead and go up to year 11 real fast and see what that looks like, and we'll be right back. All right, do we still have a manager? That's the question. We still have Larry. He's still an assistant, still at 107, still on a Continental A license. These numbers aren't changing. So he is not improving at all without a boost in his coaching qualification. He's only getting a jump when he completes his class. So if you want to see your guy improve, you need to start with a low license. Interesting. Okay. How'd Brechin City do this year? 2nd. They did very well. Competition. Did they get promoted? They did not. They must not have done well. I don't know what the rules are in this league. Scottish League 2. They were supposed to be 6th, so they did overperform. So basic rules. 2nd through 4th qualify for promotion, playoff, semifinal. Okay, so they ended up in the semifinal, but they didn't win it. So, Erdrianians? Really? I guess if you're from Erdrian, I guess you're an Erdriandian. That seems a bit of a mouthful, especially in Scotland where English isn't, well, we're speaking. I won't say English seems to be difficult. Stick with Clyde. Okay, that's easier. All right, so I think I have 1 more year left, so let's go ahead and load that up, and we'll see what happens at the end of year 12. Okay, so Larry still is an assistant coach, still Continental A license, no change in current ability, no change in his overall stats. So what we saw was that a change from 2,000 to 5,000 reputation clearly wasn't enough to make a difference, right? Our 2,000 reputation starters lasted the longest. One of those did have a higher license. And Larry, the fact that he was willing to work as an assistant coach clearly extended his career because he's still going. And we're going to end the saves here. There's no point in continuing on. I think if we take a look at Larry, yeah, we can see he's now an assistant coach. His head coach and coaching jobs are down. He's got no short or long-term plans to do anything different. He has been an interim head coach at Brechin twice. And do they have a coach now? They have a coach now. And they've never picked him as the head coach. Let's take a look at Kyle Benedictus here, because he's not as good. He has a lower license. His abilities aren't quite as good. Man management and motivating. And as a coach, these, those are important. A 3 35455 as head coach. So let's take a look at our guy. What's the easiest way to get here? And we can see he's got a man management of 9, motivating of 10, 10, 10, 9. So he's quite a bit better than the coach, the manager that they hired. With a Continental A license. Reputation. What's the other guy's reputation? Here, let's, whoops, how far back do I need to go? Here we go. Let's just add this young man here to our staff shortlist and come back here to our staff shortlist so we can get some interesting numbers here. He's got a current ability of 45 and a reputation, a home reputation of 2,800. Is that his overall? Let's go insert hidden potential. Only a potential ability of 61. He's never going to be as good as Larry. I don't know why he has a job. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's see. We don't have, where do we find, there's world reputation. Oh, he's got a higher world reputation. There's one more reputation. World reputation's already there, right? Okay, because that's the scouts. Let's do it this way. Let's click in here and let's look at staff details. Okay, so he's got a current reputation of 2,960, a home reputation of that, and a world reputation of 1871. He's got an ambition of 14. We started our guy with an ambition of 15. Don't see anything crazy there. Attributes we already know are, those are defensive line. Huh. These, I believe, are just how tactically they're built. So he likes marking. He likes to play the offside trap. He prefers probably a low tempo. Hardness of training is a 10. He likes to rotate squads. So, okay, interestingly. And he only, well, no, he'll be head coach, an assistant, or a coach. So no real change there. But it seems to be that world reputation is what sets him apart. All of our guys start, well, no, our world reputations were different as well. I believe we had a world reputation of 500 for Larry and Mo and 1,000 for Curly and Shemp. And this guy, what did we just say it was? I've already forgotten. That's how good I am at this. He's got a world reputation of 1871. Whereas Larry has a world reputation of 1682. Is that what does it? Is this the only number that they look at for who gets a job and who doesn't? I know I said we were done with this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here to Larry. I'm going to do some editing. I'm going to edit staff details. I'm going to come in here to world reputation. I'm going to boost that to 5,000 and see if he gets a job. There we go. And that's apparently what this reputation bar is based on. It's just world reputation. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down the camera and stuff because I've already been talking for 28 minutes. It's going to stop in a second anyway. We'll come back with another year in the books and we'll see if we can get Larry a job. Welcome back, guys. We even have face cam back and everything. So the battery died last time. I do have a new, well, a used camcorder on the way. It should be here Monday. I'm recording this on Sunday. It should hopefully go up on Sunday. That can run while plugged in, which will be nice because most DSLRs and mirrorless, still picture cameras aren't really meant to be run while plugged into the wall. That's not really their, unless maybe it's just a straight studio camera, but even those I don't know of. So anyway, so what we've done is we have gone ahead another year. We increased our whatever it was called, national reputation or not, whatever it was, world reputation. And we advanced a year. So let's see what has happened. Well, we can see nobody is with the past team. Mr. Kyle Benedictus, the past head coach of Brechin City, has moved on to Sterling. Was he fired, or did he? Fired. He was fired, and taking advantage of that opportunity was apparently Larry, who still has a Continental A. We still haven't seen any change in these numbers here. In fact, his world reputation has dropped from 5,000. It has dropped a little bit, probably because he worked for Mr. Benedictus, who got canned. But he has managed to land on his feet with an assistant coach job at Salford. How did Salford do last year? Wow, look at that. They have been on a roll. So, wow, congratulations. I mean, here in real world, right? It looks like they managed to get promotion twice in 2 years. And finish fourth, and then the game is predict them to finish first as well. So up in the Vanarama, they made up as far as third in Vanarama National League. Interesting. And they've been towards the top, and they've just recently had a little bit of a dip to kind of mid-table, but that's okay. So looks like while their reputation's gone up from being up here, they haven't kept up by improving their training or youth facilities, which is probably beginning to hurt them now. They brought whatever good team they had up, and as those guys retire or move on or get bought out, looks like they're hit a little bit of a dip. But let's go back to Larry here. So he was an interim head coach even. Okay, well he's done a lot of that. So he was actually hired, and he wasn't fired, so he left on his own or his contract ended. He was actually hired as the caretaker head coach. They kept him on until they hired a new coach, and he's been retained as the assistant coach, it looks like. So not too bad. Not too bad. So what I did at this point was I peeked. And I saw that he was an assistant coach. I didn't do much more than that. So I went back in to his to these numbers here to edit staff details, and I knocked his staff roles back up to 20 for head coach, left assistant coach at 20. I think I put general manager at 15 as well. And then I went forward another year. So let's go ahead and load that last year up, and we'll see if it made a difference. Okay, so we are back, and Larry is still the assistant coach at Salford. And Kyle Benedictus is still the... was he at Sterling Albion last time? That sounds right. Yeah, he was. He was. What division are they in? Scottish League 2. So he stayed Scottish League 2, right? Because that's where Brechin City was as well? Yeah, Scottish League 2. So that's kind of where he's going to be, apparently. So, and Larry has stayed right where he is. So we still have our Continental A license, excuse me. He's just dropped back, and we can see that assistant coach is dropping back down again. So he's still got 10s up here. So he clearly could still work, maybe not at Vanarama National level, but he could still work as a coach. But he's making decent money now. I guess that's still the same, right? That's how it was. Let's check milestones just to make sure. Hired as caretaker, removed as interim. So, okay, yes. So that's where he's been. So it doesn't seem to have made much of a difference. But I think we can clearly say that world reputation is much more important than anything else at this point. It doesn't really matter what your player ability is or your current ability, although we can see that Mr. Benedictus has maxed his out with a National A license. That's the end of it for him. And it appears that we were getting fairly consistent jumps based on our license of about 11 to 12 points per deal. So I think that's our next experiment, is we make a number of guys with different current abilities and potential abilities, and we give them a low-level license, lowest level, and we see how they improve. Maybe we start them with a world reputation that's a little higher. Interestingly, let's take a look to see what, if we were a player for, say, Salford, and we were to leave, what is our reputation like? So we're here, we're playing Vanarama National, and we decide to get out of the league here. Let's go ahead and let's check their senior squad here. I'm going to input age here. Insert general age. We'll find the oldest player in here, and we'll see what his reputation is. Come on, click. So, well, pretty young team, really. We've got a 26-year-old here, defensive left. Let's take a look at Mr. Marqueux, and let's go here, and we will, oh, you know what we can do? We can just do it this way. We're here. Let's just insert hidden world reputation. So if we were to retire at this point and go off to become a coach, we would be sitting around a 3,000 world reputation. That's not too bad. So what if we, let's go up a league. Let's go up a level here. Come on, Vanarama National. Click up one. So Skybet League 2. Let's take a look at that. Let's go title holders are Scunthorpe. So we'll go ahead and take a look at them. Players, senior squad, and their world reputation is maxed out at about 4. So 3 to 4. So if we were to start our players with maybe a 3,500 world reputation for our next experiment, and we'll just make that the same across the board, right? We don't want too many variables. We started at a 1,000 and looks like a 1,000. Is it the bottom one when we're looking at our guy? I wrote them in order, but I didn't write them. I didn't put what they were. I just wrote the numbers down in order, so I knew what they were. Staff details. Yeah, world reputation is the bottom one. So our guys started with a 500 and 1,000. So that's probably the problem right there. So I say we start our new experiment probably with a 3,500 reputation, and we're interested in how much improvement we get every time we improve a level of our coaching license. Is it a base number? Is it a percentage of our current ability? Is it a percentage of our potential ability? Or something completely random beyond that? I'd also be interested in knowing is, do our stats increase based on these attributes, right? So if I'm if I like to attack on here, if I'm maybe a higher direct or whatever, do these preferences change what goes up here? So if we're an attacking preference coach, does our attacking go up faster? Now, we didn't see that here. We see everything went up pretty consistently across the board. I mean, they all kind of dropped to 9, and then they all kind of went back up to 11. So, and we can see our scouting, that's data analysis. And these just stayed at 10s. So they didn't really go up at all. So I don't know. But I think that'll be the next experiment. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thumbs up if you did. Thumbs down if you didn't. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more. If you've got something else you'd like to see in an experiment, let me know down below. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.